Roads. They come in all shapes and sizes, from the busy freeway to the lonely country road. Although there are many different kinds of roads, they all have one thing in common: the motor grader. The motor grader is the essential tool for building and maintaining roads. Today's motor graders have been designed to make these jobs easier and faster than ever before. But the motor grader is only part of the story. The key factor is the motor grader operator. By understanding the grader's capabilities, the operator, through his own creativity, can make the job easier and more efficient. With that in mind, we'll be joined by professional operator Mike Boyle to look at both road construction and road maintenance as we demonstrate how to get more out of your motor grader.
Let's start by building a road. Every job will differ. There is no set number of passes to cut the ditches or backslope, no set way of crowning the road. The reason being, moistures will change, slopes will vary, and soils will roll different. With all these variables, an articulated motor grader will make the job easier and faster. In the road that we're going to construct, we will first cut the ditches and backslopes, then we will construct and crown the road.
For this road construction job, Mike first makes a scarifying or ripping pass to loosen material. This pass gives him an idea of what to expect and loosens or breaks up any rocky areas. The second pass will be a marking pass, which will design the layout of the ditch. The grader is set to cut to the right. The circle is side-shifted all the way to the left, and the blade is rotated to about a foot behind the right front tire. The blade is pitched forward a couple of inches to get a good rolling action, and the front tires are leaned all the way to the left to offset side draft. Mike begins the pass by lowering the toe of the blade and eyeing in on a stake or something stationary down the ditch line. This helps him drive the grader in a straight line. The cut material is windrow between the tandems with the right rear wheels against the back slope. This pass should be deep enough to keep the front wheels from sliding on the next pass. One of the most productive ways to build a road is to work one side, then turn around and work the other side on the return pass. This eliminates deadheading and makes the job more efficient. The next pass deepens the ditch. The grader is in the same setup position, except now the windrow is placed outside the left tandem. Both the right front and right rear tires are against the back slope to hold the grader in a straight line. The windrow along the ditch needs to be moved toward the center of the road to build the crown. The front wheels are now articulated toward the center of the road, with the wheels leaning left also toward the center. The tandems are on the shoulder to compact material. The circle is side-shifted all the way to the right for more blade angle, and the blade is rotated so no spillage occurs. This pass only moves the windrow 4 to 5 feet to get the material off the shoulder as the weight of the grader compacts the shoulder. Another pass is necessary to get the material to the crown of the road. Not as much articulation or circle side shift are used for this pass, so the material spreads and packs into the roadbed. The back slope is Mike's next concern. To cut the back slope, the grader is placed in the bank position by moving the saddle all the way to the right. This allows the best reach to the right in the straight frame position. The front wheels are leaned to the left, and the right front wheel is placed against the back slope. Both the circle and blade are side shifted all the way to the right. Also, the blade is pitched forward to gain more reach and for better visibility. The blade is lowered to cut the desired angle while straddling the windrow with the tandems. This pass should be made in low or second gear. The backslope material is now in the bottom of the ditch, and cleanup passes are needed to windrow the material to the crown of the road. For these passes, the saddle pin is returned to the center hole position, and the front wheels are leaned to the left toward the center of the road. The front wheels are also articulated toward the center of the road, with the tandem straddling the windrow. The circle is side shifted all the way to the right, and the entire windrow is reached by using blade side shift. The blade is pitched back, but not all the way back, so a good rolling action is maintained. Again, the windrow is on the shoulder of the road. The cleaning passes are repeated, moving the windrow to the center of the road. Several passes may also be needed to compact and spread the material to crown the roadbed. By articulating slightly, the front wheels will be offset from the rear wheels, so more material can be compacted per pass. The different passes we've just seen should be repeated until the desired grade is reached, not only on the road, but for the ditch and backslope as well.
Now that we have the road built, our next job will be blading and maintaining it. First point we'd like to bring up will be a 3-piece cutting edge. For operators, blade roads daily and wear out the center piece. An extra hard center cutting edge will help. This will extend the life of the cutting edge. Also, maintaining consistent blade pitch every time you blade the road will extend the life of the cutting edge.
What Mike is referring to can be best illustrated in this way. Blade pitch determines the angle of wear on the cutting edge. If the pitch is changed, the angle of wear changes. As you can see in this example, changing the pitch means less cutting edge material is available to counteract wear. The result is shortened cutting edge life. By consistently using the same blade pitch and wear angle, accelerated wear can be avoided. Traffic will determine how often gravel roads need to be maintained. A day after a rain is an excellent time to grade roads. The moisture will help shape and compact gravel back into the crown. The crown of most roads will be high enough for a 2 to 5% slope from the center of the road to each shoulder. Enough center elevation is needed so water will flow off the road and into the ditch.
Infrequently maintained gravel roads. The loose material is usually along the edge, on the curves, washboard areas, or around potholes. The right idea would take this loose material, fill the pothole, washboard areas, and any excess material would be spread evenly across the road. On this particular road, we're going to make 3 passes. The first and second pass, we take the loose material to the center of the road. The third pass will flatten and spread excess material across the road. This will also leave a little material for traffic to compact.
For the edge passes, Mike has the motograder slightly articulated to improve visibility. Circle side shift is in the middle, and the blade is pitched slightly forward. The blade is angled just enough not to lose any material off the toe and to carry a load to fill holes and compact the road surface. Mike is slowing down and changing articulation in this washboard area to control possible machine rocking or bouncing. Changing articulation helps control bounce because it changes the distance between the blade and the front wheels. This changes the rhythm of the grader's bounce, helping to smooth the grade. On the last pass, the blade is rotated to almost 90 degrees with the frame, and the material is feathered to the low side of the road. On this pass, Mike watches for daylight and tailings under the blade to know how much material he's carrying.
The shoulder of a road has a tendency to grow higher. As you can see, the shoulder is higher than the edge of the road. This creates a place for water to puddle. This water causes the road to become soft and creates a road hazard. The best way to handle this situation, come through, pick up all this material, haul it away so that the water is allowed to drain back to the ditch. But this would be very expensive. So what we're going to do is what we call sweeping underneath the carpet. This is done by cutting the gravel loose from the edge of the road, windrowing it to the center, making a small ditch, and cutting the material loose from the shoulder, putting it into the ditch, bringing the gravel back across, making a smooth place for the water to drain to the ditch.
To set the grader, Mike leans the wheels to the left and side shifts the circle to the right. He reaches the edge of the road with blade side shift, and the blade is pitched slightly forward for a good rolling action. The front wheels are articulated to the left for better power behind the blade and for better visibility. The gravel is cut deep enough to hold the shoulder material. Cutting and moving the gravel may take several passes. After the gravel is windrowed to the center of the road, the grass needs to be rolled off the shoulder. This can be done by setting the right front wheel on the shoulder and setting the tandems on the roadbed. The blade should be pitched back and the circle side shifted all the way to the right. The idea here is to try to roll the grass the length of the blade to shake the dirt out of the grass. This will leave the grass in a windrow. The grader now straddles the windrow with the blade about 1.5 inches to 2 inches above the road surface. A faster gear is used to bust and roll the grass back onto the shoulder, shaking out the dirt and separating the grass. When separating grass, several passes may be made, leaving the grass on the shoulder. Now, the grass-free dirt is rolled back onto the road surface to achieve grade. The grader's wheels are used for compaction. Next, the machine articulates and straddles the windrow with the front wheels. This allows the gravel to be feathered back toward the edge of the road. Again, it may take more passes to get the windrow feathered to the edge.
Moving down the road, we find a wet ditch area caused by a high spot. High spot is caused by soil sloughing off the slope, water running out of the field, or just plain erosion. To remove this plug, material may be taken to the foreslope, and in cases when it's not so wet, to the back slope.
Mike will clean the ditch by articulating the front end over the edge of the ditch and leaving the tandems on the road surface for traction. The circle is side-shifted all the way to the right. The blade is pitched all the way back. The blade is rotated behind the front wheel at a sharp angle, and the wheels are leaned upslope to help offset side draft. With the differential lock engaged, blade side shift and blade lifts are metered to reach the wet material in the ditch while keeping the grader moving in a straight line. It may take additional passes to remove the plug. If a windrow is created, make sure it's placed between the tandems so the grader can maintain traction. The material eventually could be spread across the road and let dry, or in this case, left in a windrow to be picked up by another machine. If the ditch is deep, say a 2-to-1 slope, and the blade keeps cutting the shoulder, more heel clearance can be gained by moving the saddle pin. The pin should be moved 2 holes the opposite way the blade is trying to reach. The material again will have to be stored on the foreslope or windrowed between the tandems, allowing the material to dry or be hauled away. If the ditch is sticky but has a firm bottom, the material can be stored on the back slope or bladed to the top of the back slope. This is done by moving the saddle pin to the last hole the way the grader is going to reach, let's say to the right. Also, the circle is side-shifted to the right. The grader is articulated to the right, leaving the front wheels on the back slope and the tandems on the foreslope. The blade should be rotated just behind the front left wheel so the material can be cast up the slope. During the pass, the differential lock is engaged. The blade is side-shifted to the center of the ditch, and the amount of bladed material is metered by the blade lifts. Steering can be enhanced with wheel lean. Once the material is on the back slope, the circle is side-shifted to the right and rotated to a lesser angle so the material can be moved on up the slope. The grader straddles the windrow with the front wheels and casts the material upwards. A fast gear will help the material move up the moldboard. In these wet conditions, an all-wheel drive grader makes the operation easier. The aggressive mode should be used under these conditions. When the material is at the top of the slope, a simple grading pass will return the material to the original pre-eroded position. Under the right conditions, the grader could also reach down and pull material up the back slope. The variables differ from job to job, and an operator like Mike has to keep in mind the different positions the blade will reach.
Slopes will be our next job. Slopes are interesting to work and challenging to dress. Again, operator's imagination will help put the blade in the right position. Front wheel drive in aggressive mode will help hold the grader on the slope and make the job easier. Shallow slopes can be graded straight frame or articulated depending on the amount of material to be moved. But steeper slopes, front wheel drive, bank position, and articulation will help get the job done.
In this application, the grader will reach to the left. So Mike has moved the saddle pin to the last hole to the left. The circle is side-shifted almost all the way to the left. The front wheels are articulated up the slope to help balance the grader, and the wheels are leaned up the slope slightly. The angle of the blade is behind the front wheel enough to carry a small amount of material to fill any holes. The blade is pitched forward for better visibility. With the differential locked, Mike begins the pass. Dirt is cast into a windrow between the tandems and is adjusted with blade side shift. Running the upper set of tandems against this windrow helps hold the grader on the slope. If the machine slides, more blade rotation is used and less material is carried. If the machine slides into an unusual position, as Mike is now simulating, spinning the rear tandems and changing articulation will slide the rear of the grader down the slope so it can be backed away. Many slopes can be dressed by starting at the top and reaching down. This is similar to the position used when cleaning a ditch. The second pass will be with the machine in the bank position on the slope. The grader continues to make passes until the material is moved to the bottom of the slope. With the material close to the bottom, the slope can be cut like a V-ditch backslope. By learning the different grader positions, an operator can choose various combinations that will work for any application. An articulated motor grader equipped with bank position capabilities and front-wheel drive can perform some specialized operations. One of these operations is the culvert cut. The idea is to cut a ditch with a round bottom to fit a culvert. This is done by putting the grader in the bank position. The grader is articulated over the ditch area, and the blade is rotated between the front wheels. The blade is lowered with the circle side shift and blade lifts. The material is cut to the desired depth with blade side shift. The material is cast with the blade pitch either to the foreslope or backslope. Wheeling can be used to help guide the machine. In excellent conditions, material will slide up the moldboard and fall off the end. Depending on conditions, about a foot of material is cut out of the ditch. Another specialty pass allows the grader to clean out the end of a plug culvert without getting into the ditch. Again, the blade is in the bank position or 90 degrees to the ground. Blade side shift is used to lower the blade to the end of the culvert, and circle rotation is used to get the desired depth. By rotating back and extending blade side shift to the bottom of the culvert, Mike can simply drive forward on the shoulder of the road, casting material onto the backslope with blade pitch. During the past few minutes, we've seen professional operator Mike Boyle go through the steps involved in constructing a road. And we've also looked at various tips for maintaining roads. The main objective for the motor grader operator is to be creative. Creative in using a combination of grader functions that will make completing the job quicker, easier, and safer.